Over the last 2 episodes, I've been genuinely excited about these drugs, and I stand by everything I said. But I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't also talk about the things we don't know yet. The questions that don't have clean answers, the parts of this story that are complicated. Because here's the thing about medicine, it's always more nuanced than the headlines. These drugs are remarkable. They're also not magic, and they're not for everyone. And a lot of people who need them can't get them. Let's talk about all of that. Most of the clinical trials for these newer drugs top out at about 2 years of follow-up. That's not very long for a drug you might be taking for decades. The SELECT trial with semaglutide gave us 4 years of data, and the news was largely good. People maintained about 10% weight loss. Fewer serious adverse events than placebo, no increased cancer risk, and no increased pancreatitis. But bariatric surgery, which these drugs increasingly rival in weight loss, has taught us something important. Long-term surgery patients face higher risks of bone fractures, nutrient deficiencies, and higher rates of self-harm behaviors. Will we see similar patterns with pharmacotherapy over 10-20 years? We genuinely don't know yet. The cardiovascular outcome trials for tirzepatide and retatrutide will give us much better data. But those results are still years away. And then there's the muscle question. When you lose weight very rapidly, and 20% in a year is rapid, you lose lean mass. That includes muscle. In older adults especially, that can accelerate the loss of strength and function. The answer isn't to avoid these drugs. It's to pair them with resistance training and adequate protein intake. The research is clear on this. If you're on a GLP-1, you need to be lifting and eating protein. This is not optional. Here's the part that makes me genuinely frustrated. We have drugs that produce 20+% weight loss, safe, effective, and a huge proportion of the people who could benefit from them can't get them. The cost is one issue. In the US, brand name semaglutide can run $300 a month without insurance coverage. Tirzepatide, similar. Insurance coverage is inconsistent. Many plans don't cover obesity medications at all, classifying them as lifestyle drugs. Obesity affects 650 million people globally. Access to these drugs is currently limited to the wealthy few. The science is ahead of the healthcare system. We have the tools. The infrastructure to deliver them equitably does not yet exist. The good news is that patents expire, competition enters the market, prices fall. Several of these newer drugs, oral semaglutide, or orforglipron, could dramatically reduce costs compared to injectables. But that takes time, and for people who need help now, time is the one thing they don't have. So here's the question I get more than any other. Should I be on one of these drugs? And honestly, I can't answer that for you. But here's what the science says. People with a BMI over 30 or over 27 with conditions like type 2 diabetes or heart disease. People who have tried lifestyle interventions seriously and hit a biological ceiling, not a motivation ceiling. And people whose weight is actively contributing to other health conditions. What these drugs are not, a substitute for lifestyle. The best outcomes came when drugs were combined with diet and exercise. And they're not a quick fix. Some people simply respond less. That's not failure, that's biology. Obesity is not a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's a chronic disease driven by genetics and environment. The drugs we've talked about are not cheating. They're medicine. The same way insulin isn't cheating for a diabetic. And the science is just getting started. Triple agonists in phase 3. Oral pills hitting the same numbers as injections. The next 5 years in obesity medicine are going to look unlike anything that came before. If this series helped you understand something, share it. I'll link all the research we referenced in the description. Read it yourself. Thanks for watching. More medical and science information and innovation at unbedsidemanners.com.